Are we live? Are we live? It looks like we might be. Just about here. Welcome to another live stream repair. We've got a pretty easy day for us here, just this one HomePod, and it has no power. So we're just going to jump right on into this, shall we? So, get our power cable here. Get that on connected. And let's plug this into the wall and see what we got here. So right on, no signs of life or anything when we touch it, and we've got about 4 watts from the wall, so yet again, seems pretty typical of that shorted diode behavior on the amplifier. So let's go on ahead and crack that open. Let's bring up our side cam here. Looks like there's a little bit of cracking on the top here. So we're going to be careful when we start prying up around this area especially. Don't want to put too much force right on the edge there, or it'll make the cracks on there worse. You mean logic board? Unfortunately, I don't have any logic boards for sale right now. However, I will let you guys in on a little secret. I had somebody email me this morning asking about the offer that I put up about giving remote access to a HomePod if they could figure out how to dump the firmware and restore bricked ones with the flashing volume buttons. Somebody emailed me this morning asking if they could get remote access. And it sounds like they may have figured out how to dump and restore the firmware on HomePods. But at the moment they only had broken ones. So they aren't sure if it they were only able to dump, of course, firmware from broken ones, because that's all they have, so they haven't been able to try dumping the firmware from a working one. I presume that might be because they don't want to take apart a working one and risk damaging that, or for whatever reason. So it's possible that we may very soon see here finally a fix for the blinking volume button issue with these bricked boards. And if that's the case, then boy, do I have motherboards for sale. If we can fix the blinking volume button issue, well, I mean, aside from 1 or 2 of these that I've used for parts, all of these have been bricked from blinking volume buttons issues. Most likely from people cutting the power to them in the middle of a software update, or the software update just going bad. So hopefully we get a fix for that. I don't know what you want me to do with your HomePod that has flashing lights. There's nothing I can do about it yet. I am saying that we might have a fix for it soon. I don't know yet. It's not confirmed. As soon as we confirm, as soon as they actually remote into my stuff and dump the firmware, show me how it's done. When we actually confirm that this is a way to fix these, then we will have, I'll put some updated information on the website. Of course, I'll offer repairs for the flashing volume lights, but as of right now, it's not confirmed. They haven't gotten back to me yet as far as actually remoting in. They shot me the original email saying, hey, I think I might have figured this out, but I need access to a working HomePod. And I told them, I said, I can give you access to a working HomePod. How would you like it? And I haven't heard back yet, but that was also this morning. So keep an eye out on my channel here. Keep an eye on my website. As soon as we find a fix for the blinking volume buttons issue, both of those, I'll post a video on my YouTube channel. I'll update the website. You guys will know as soon as I know. I'm also going to screen record their session when they remote into my computer to mess around with the HomePods. So we'll get to see exactly how this goes down. Can I put the answer in the comments? Yeah, so, okay. Okay, I hope that comment translates well enough for you to understand. Yeah, just keep an eye out. I promise, as soon as we have a fix for it, you guys will know, and I'll be all over it. Everybody's waiting for it. Let's see here. Big fingers crossed. I'm hoping that this guy isn't just trying to hack me, because that would be funny. It would be a vain attempt because it's on a Mac Mini that has no other information. It's just got the test user on it for this, no other data on there, and it's on an isolated guest network. So it can't even see anything else on my network. So it's completely separated from anything else at my house here. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they're legit and they've actually got a potential fix here, or if they're just trying to goof around. But based on their wording in the original email, I kind of feel like they're not messing around. But you know, anybody can type out an email and say a certain set of words. So I'm excited to see where it goes, good, bad, or otherwise. Oh yeah, I'll be blowing up every single social media I can too, like Reddit and, well, I guess really just like Reddit and YouTube, but you'll definitely you'll hear about it as soon as we have it figured out. Did I manage to fix those two boards you weren't able to fix on the live stream the other night? I haven't had time to get to those yet. So maybe actually after we finish this one, we can break those ones out and give it a shot. Since we've just got this one here today, we should have time. But I never know with my normal job and life, and you know how it goes. Yeah, unstick. That's good stuff. It's beer brand beer. sure we have all the screws taken out, and pry for the best. Seems to be coming up pretty easy. Change the NAND of the HomePod for one of an iPhone 6, copy the serial and everything, but still follow the flash volume. Yeah, I'd expect that, because the I'm spacing out right now, but I wouldn't expect the chips from an iPhone 6 to work in the HomePod, at least the NAND. Not unless you're able to... Well, actually, because you copied the serials, so that it should think that it's the same NAND as the last one as far as the A8 CPU is concerned. So I don't know why that wouldn't work. Huh. Oh, well, the reason why you're still blinking volume buttons is you swapped the NAND, which is what stores the OS. Did you actually manage to restore the OS after you swapped the storage module? Because if you just swapped the storage module with one from like an iPhone, it doesn't have HomePod software on it to boot from, so of course it's still going to go to blinking volume buttons. We'll need a way to restore the software on them. I can't think very well while I'm working at the same time. As far as like talking and prying is hard, okay? I'm curious how you copied the serial, not just the serial number, but the whole software on it. Like, do you have like a NAND freaking NAND programmer or something? I don't know much about this stuff. Gotta be honest with you, I really don't know much about it. Alright, woofer looks to be in good condition. Don't need to worry about that. Let's see. Let's get these gaskets out of the way. Also, so you said you changed the NAND of the HomePod from one of an iPhone 6. You copied the serial and everything, but it still follows the flashing volume buttons. So the problem isn't, in that case, the problem isn't going to be your storage chip. The physical chip was fine. It's the software on your original chip that's messed up. And when you copy that HomePod software from your original HomePod NAND to your iPhone NAND, and then put that iPhone NAND into your HomePod, you're still ultimately stuck with the broken software that you copied off the original NAND. And that's kind of what this guy that I'm talking to is hopefully going to be able to fix is a way to... He needs access to a working HomePod to dump the firmware from that, and then he's already got a way to restore firmware, but his problem is he doesn't have a working one right now to dump good firmware from. And it's not just like you open up a command line and you just type dump firmware and it copies the firmware from the HomePod and gives you an IPSW or a zip file or something like that. It's not quite that simple. You got to do some magic with the files that it spits out for you in order to turn it into a restorable firmware package. Alright. Let's pull that power supply out. Disconnect that ribbon cable down there. Easy peasy. And let's get this amp out. Alright. Let's get our close up here. So what do we got here? No power. This guy doesn't want to power on, so let's see. Where's our diode? There it is. $1746K on there. Yeah. So let's go ahead and get that diode replaced. I guess for posterity here, I could pull up my diode or my multimeter here, show you guys, switch it to continuity test mode, and just check that diode really quick. Yep, it's shorted all the way through. So let's get our hot air and pull that diode off. Alright, got that off, easy peasy. Let's break out a new diode here. 60 volt 5 amp, part number PDS 560-13. We'll slap some flux on that. Slap some fresh solder on that. Beautiful. Get some flux on the board. See, it's lined up pretty good. We'll let surface tension from the solder do most of the work lining that up there. And once it starts to melt, we can push and hold it down gently with our tweezers. There we go. Until it solidifies. Boop. Just like that. You can see the texture of the solder blob on the bottom kind of change when it solidifies. Pretty easy to tell. Much easier to see in person than on camera. But let's go ahead and just give this a second to cool off while we put some parts together on here. Let's just give it a quick test on the bench with it all apart. Make sure that, of course, our no power repair here worked. And then we'll check it for any DC offset while we've already got it apart here. I'm just taking my time putting this back together so it has a chance to cool down here before we just power it on up. Get ourselves a good logic board. Plug our subwoofer into that. Get our multimeter turned on here. Switch that over into DC millivolts mode. And get those probes hooked up to our subwoofer here. If you want to know more about DC offset, you can do a quick Google search for DC offset and audio amplifiers, or I've also got a quick little blurb under the common issues section of my website, right there, mixfix.com. Check it out. Pretty neat little knockoff of Apple's original HomePod site with its fancy little animations and such. I'm quite proud of fixing half the bugs on that stupid site. But anyways, let's get some power and boot this baby up. I heard the capacitors charge up, so alright, our no power repair worked. Let's let this boot up, and once it's booted up, we can wake up the amplifier and take our DC measurement here. Alright, so it's up. Let's wake up that amp. Alright, so I can hear Siri speaking in the bass speaker, so that's good. The bass is working. And we've got a really clean result here of less than 1 millivolt of DC offset. So quite a satisfactory result. No additional repairs necessary here. We can go ahead and tear this on down and properly put it back together in their pod. Just gonna get that logic cable here and board out of the way. Get our multimeter out of the way here. And this power supply. And then get their shell here and carefully drop that in. Since we just recently powered this on, we want to be careful not to set it in the wrong orientation and potentially short the components out from those speaker terminals underneath. You want to set that down as centered as possible. Those caps will hold the charge for quite some time. Got almost all the screws in for the amp here, just 2 more. And it's usually the last ones that put up the fight going in straight. There we go. Last one. And there we go. And then before we forget, we want to reconnect that logic cable there to the amp. Lock that down. Then we can grab our power supply, center that, and then push it down to plug it in. Get its AC connection plugged in on the top. And then we can screw that in. Answer my comments. Yeah, I'll try to type those up before I kill the stream so you can translate those. Actually, I'll let me type it up really quick here because it's pretty succinct. your NAND swap likely, your NAND swap resulting still in blinking volume buttons likely is because the copy of the HomePod software on your original NAND was the cause, was bad. It usually keeps restarting when I go into settings. That's interesting. What do you mean it restarts when you go into settings? Ah, man. Google Translate isn't doing us a favor. I think maybe part of the problem with the software over time is like there's no way for the HomePod to like completely wipe itself and start from scratch. But that's just my theory. It's kind of like, okay, so factory resetting the original HomePod right now is kind of like the same thing as the, like in Windows you used to have this feature where you could like reset all your settings and like start from it with a fresh copy of Windows. When in reality all it really did was just delete the user folder, and it didn't actually delete and reinstall all of the system files and clean your registry and whatever. Maybe it does that now, maybe it did that originally, but my understanding when the feature was originally a thing was it didn't do it wasn't the same thing as plugging in an external like bootable drive, and like wiping the thing and doing a full reinstall. There's the subwoofer here. Alright. Someone said your theory is actually correct. It deletes the keys permanently for the encrypted data. However, the actual stuff is still there until overwritten. Yeah. Kinda dumb. I was talking to someone in my Discord server about like Apple. I don't know if it was recent or if this has been a thing for a while, but their Apple Watches have like a wireless recovery mode. So like you don't need to use that. You don't need to buy one of those like weird adapters and like take your watch apart anymore in order to restore them if you bunk the firmware on them somehow. There's like there's like a wireless way of recovering the software on them now. And it'd be cool to see similar functionality in the original HomePods, but I wonder if they can only get away with that with the hardware in the Apple Watch, like because of its chipset or something. I don't know. Oh, you are. I'm horrible with names, so you could tell me your name, and honestly, it's I don't know what it is, but. Yeah, you remember probably better what you said than I do as far as how it worked on the Apple Watch. right, let's get that screwed down. Almost forgot to give y'all that super sexy side angle. There you go. You're not that guy, pal. Yes, I am. I'm literally that guy. Let's get that screwed down. Don't want to over tighten these screws. I've said it a few times in a few live streams in the past, but over tightening the screws on these can certainly start causing issues with your bass speaker sealing properly. So just get them tight enough to where they feel nice and snug, and you'll be good. That's right. I remember now. That's what you were saying. The thing is so old, it would make sense for them to add that. Alright, start buttoning that up. Make sure there's no crusties in there first of all. No animal crackers in this soup. I bet nobody's old enough here to get that. I'm not even old enough to get that, but I can thank my grandma. Oh, what's even stranger is some HomePods have like 16 gigabyte NANds, and then some HomePods have like 128 gigabyte NANds. What's up with that? What's up with that? Unless the technical breakdown from Tech Insights when they reverse engineered the HomePod, unless that's inaccurate. There were two different storage sizes that came in the HomePods. It was like, I think it was 16 or 128 gigs. I could be wrong, but I distinctly remember them mentioning two different sizes. Regardless, kind of wildly different too. I guess I could look that up here. Yeah, let me look here. I'm sure I've got in that stack of logic boards there, I'm sure I've got one or two of them that are different from each other, have different sizes. Tech Insights, Apple HomePod. So if we go to the Apple HomePod teardown and cost comparison, we can see here, if we scroll down to the flash memory, They say we have seen reports of other HomePods using a Toshiba 16 gigabyte NAND flash, but our HomePod came with a 128 gigabyte NAND flash. So that's, oh wait, yeah, okay. So I'm just being dumb here. Okay, so what that means is theirs came with a 16 gigabyte, and then the other person's came with a 4 gigabyte. Oh, no, the 4 gigabyte one's in the Amazon Echo. I should just stop reading, because apparently I don't know how to do that. Okay. We have seen reports of other HomePods using the 16, but ours came with 120. Why do they write this differently? That's just confusing now. Alright, well anyways. Now you've seen it. We shall now proceed. Making a fool. Yeah, I thought that was strange. Glad I went back and reread that before I started claiming it as real fact. Alright, get those drawstrings tightened up. They were probably drunk while doing it. To be fair, I was drunk reading it, so. Oh man. Yeah, it is kind of confusing. I've been, for a while I've wanted to pay for access to, because apparently there's like a deeper dive into it, and I've been considering paying for it, but I don't know if it's worth it. It's not like it's going to contain any big secrets or reveal any additional information that would make this easier for us. All right. Well, anyways, so let's think about that for a sec. What's the biggest? So there's no way, right? There's no way that Audio OS could be larger than like iPad OS or iOS or TV OS for that matter, because it's based on TV OS. So we could estimate the size of it based on like TV OS. What is that? 46 gigabytes, I think. So in that case, you've still probably got, let's just conservatively say there's 10 gigabytes being taken up between the OS install and like cache and temporary files and whatever else. That still gives you like 6-ish gigabytes to do something with. I don't know where I was going with that. My mind is not there at the moment. ADHD can be really, really fun sometimes. You've got one train of thought and then it's just completely gone. Neither of those train of thoughts are also anything to do with what you're actually working on at the moment either. All right. The final piece here. All right, you jackwagon. There we go. Oh, sounds like they're closed. Alright, so we got that lined up. We're not going to ream on this one because, as we noticed when we were first opening this up, it's got a few cracks on the side here. So we're going to be a little more gentle with it, and especially near those cracks, we're not going to really push down on it that much. Alright. Let's take a look at that. Looks pretty freaking good. Let's get that plugged into power and see if we made any mistakes. Drum roll, please. Oh, we got him. It's booting up. Alright, that booted up. I felt like that booted up really fast.
I'm having trouble connecting to the internet.
Alright, so
For more
I can
info,
hear the bass in
check
her
the
voice.
I'm having...
Volume buttons light up nice and even. We got it all fixed up. Right on. So let's disconnect that from power. We'll set that to the side. And let me see if I can find those boards from the other day here. Also change this. Here we go. So we got, what was it? Replaced the caps on this one and now it has no bass. I thought that's really odd. Replaced, oh no, this one was sent in for no sound. And we tried to replace the main DAC on there and bumped a few components off. So let's see if we can't save these after I check the messages that people won't know. Alright, let's see. Hey, what's up, Eddie? What's up, what's up? So what do we think's up with the one here that has no bass? I don't remember if I checked if it had bass at all before we did the repairs. Let's see. So we're gonna work on the one with no sound yet. This one for some reason won't restore. Yeah, there's some hardware issue with it. It must be. But it's been sitting here. It's been happily boot looping for weeks now. So, well, I mean, not happily. He's clearly very sad, but. All right. So I think I'm still a little stumped on the replaced caps, now no bass. We're gonna set that one to the side, and I think let's tackle the one here that we've got good suspicion on. So let's get, of course, I'm gonna have to kill this live stream for now. I'm getting bothered by work, of course. So, maybe we'll do a live stream tomorrow where we've just got I've got like a whole stack of boards here. We've got a lot that we can fix up, but unfortunately not a whole lot of time to do it. So unfortunately we're gonna have to put this all away, and I'm gonna have to leave you guys to your own demises now. I hope you all enjoyed this live stream repair. Sorry to cut it short again, but subscribe and you'll catch the next one here, and I'll catch you in that next one.